Heights. Housing opportunities and diversification of land uses will be focused along the major intersection of Hacienda and Halliburton, as well as near Azusa Avenue where access to transit and amenities is high. There are recommendations to strengthen and enhance existing commercial centers, and enhance Hacienda as a pedestrian-oriented commercial core, and to support more community-serving retail. There are also recommendations to improve the walkability and connectedness of existing commercial areas to the nearby neighborhoods and to connect pathways to local services. It's recommended to strengthen employment opportunities north of the 60 freeway as well. And then looking at a map of Hacienda Heights, changes are recommended for residential areas near Hacienda and Halliburton to be rezoned from R1 and RA to R2, which is a duplex zone, and from R3 to R5, which is a more diverse multifamily zone. There are also recommended changes from commercial to mixed use zone at Azusa, and for the residential area adjacent to be rezoned from RA to R2. This is consistent with the nearby multifamily zoning, with the recommendations in the adopted Hacienda Heights community plan, and to support walkability and vibrancy near the major commercial cores of the community. This will maintain consistent land use categories across all communities in the planning area. In addition, the adopted housing element update has designated changes to the commercial zoning in the northern and central parts of Hacienda Heights along Hacienda Boulevard and 7th Avenue to C1 and CH, which are more limited commercial zones, and C3, which is the most permissive commercial zone. So it's going from C1 and CH to C3. This will facilitate a revitalization of the commercial centers, as the CPD zone is very limited and has additional permitting requirements that have posed barriers to the revitalization of commercial centers. Moving on to Rowland Heights. For the community of Rowland Heights, housing opportunities and diversification of land uses will be focused around the major intersections in Colima Road where there's access to transit and amenities. There are recommendations to strengthen and enhance existing commercial centers along Colima as a pedestrian-oriented commercial core and support more community-serving retail. There are also recommendations to improve the walkability and connectedness of existing commercial areas to nearby neighborhoods and to connected pathways to local services. It's recommended to strengthen employment opportunities north of the 60 freeway as well. So looking at a map of the community of Rowland Heights, changes are recommended for residential areas near Colima and major intersections to be rezoned from R1 and A1 to R2, which is the duplex zone. There are also recommended changes from commercial zoning to mixed-use zoning along Colima Road to support walkability and vibrancy near major commercial cores of the community. In addition, for consistency with the general plan land use categories, all land uses as determined by the Rowland Heights Community Plan will be transitioned to their general plan equivalent. This will maintain consistent land use categories across all the communities in the planning area. For A-zone properties and residential areas, they're proposed to be changed to R1, which is residential 1, for properties that are less than 6,000 square feet, and RA for properties that are greater than 6,000 square feet. Properties in agricultural and equestrian areas can maintain the A1 zone as consistent with their existing land uses. For South San Jose Hills, housing opportunities and diversification of land uses will be focused within a half mile of commercial border. All of the maps are available on our website, so you can check them out and take a deeper dive. But I hope this provided just a bit of an overview of the variety of changes and updates that are proposed as part of this plan. I'm now going to shift gears and talk about another project that's related to the area plan called the East San Gabriel Valley Mobility Action Plan. Ultimately, this mobility action plan will serve as the mobility element of the area plan and is a separate grant-funded project in partnership with the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG. So the mobility action plan is a grant-funded effort to improve access to transit and active transportation options in the planning area. It identifies barriers to transportation and recommends strategies for closing gaps, coordinates mobility strategies across 24 unincorporated islands and 13 cities within the East San Gabriel Valley area. The Mobility Action Plan has been conducting engagement in the communities over 3 different phases. From the engagement, input, and feedback, as well as additional research, the planning effort developed an analysis of existing conditions, the mobility needs and gaps, and recommendations. The draft plan consists of an existing conditions analysis, mobility vision and strategy, and the final plan will be incorporated as the area plan's mobility element. The engagement activities included coordination with the Parks Department and Foothill Transit to publicize the project and gain feedback from community members. You can see in the park stencils featuring quotes from community members about how they access places in the community. We also have an online suite of materials that you can access from our website. So as you'll see on this slide, we have a digital foyer that serves as the project website for the East Inglewood Valley Mobility Action Plan. We've really been trying to think of creative engagement strategies to reach out to as many community members as possible, including those who may not be traditionally engaged in the planning process. And so you'll see a large variety of engagement efforts on our project website in regards to this plan. And it all ties together with the area plan as well. The effort mapped mobility indicators, including the generators, attractors, and barriers to active transportation. And so I think we can take this time to, if there's any questions from the attendees, we can take them now. And then just one thing before we go after questions is we do have a little bit of an exit poll that if participants can hang on to answer that really helps us make sure that the information we provide today is helpful. So I think we'll start off with see if there's any questions. And if you do have a question, you can put it in the Q&A function box, the chat box, or you can raise your hand.
So we have a question. We have a question from Roy.
Okay, this is Roy Humphreys over here.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, I just unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I just unmuted myself. Okay, so, something that I brought to the County Board of Supervisors on the Tuesday meetings is something that's critical to this overall process, and I realize you guys have been going on for a long time, but something that has arisen for all communities, city and county, and I've contacted the supervisors, staff who says, yes, we need to address this, and that is the transient / homeless infestation that we have, and it's not there. And I have suggested to the County Board of Supervisors to have a county-wide plan for campsites so we can get these people off of our streets, out of our commercial areas, and have a place. And according to the courts, that's what has to be done. And this is a new wrinkle which will cause a lot of fervor. Maybe that's the proper word. So thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you for your comments, Roy. Anybody else? I know that was a lot of information, and we really do appreciate the time you spent with us. You know, if you have any, even after this meeting, like James said, you know, if you have any questions for us, if you want to meet with us one-on-one, we're more than happy to meet and answer any questions you may have. So, but it is nice seeing you all here.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for tuning in. And just before everyone goes, we do have an exit survey, and this is a new initiative by the Department of Regional Planning to make sure that what we present is digestible and enough information, or the right information to folks. So this is the survey responses we get here will help tailor our future presentations. And one additional thing to note too is that, as you've seen on our meeting list, we have a ton of other meetings coming up related to this. So we have a mobility action plan specific community meeting. We have an EIR scoping meeting that you can attend. But the meetings that say East Inglewood Valley Area Plan Community Meeting, it'll be the same content and same presentation as this one. So you're more than welcome to join. It'll just be the same information, but we welcome your questions and thoughts at that meeting too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to launch this poll, and once you answer the poll, we thank you for your time. If there's any other questions, you can go ahead and email us.
Oh, and we should mention that we do have an in-person meeting scheduled coming up at the Steinmetz Park in Hacienda Heights on the 30th.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, feel free to also join us at Steinmetz Park at I think 10 a.m. on April 30th. That's a park in Hacienda Heights, and we'll be out there and providing the same information as this meeting, but if you want to see us in person, say hello, you're more than welcome to join us there as well.
And we'll have hard copies of the community chapters and elements at that in-person meeting.
All right, so I just launched a poll. I think you should all see it on your screen.